Okay, it'd be great to start just with a little bit of background on Amiblu as a company, with sort of how long it's been going, any sort of key milestones along the way.
Yeah, so Amiblu, as it is today, this is a joint venture, and our roots go back more than 70 years. So Amiblu nowadays we so we have two technologies. One is the centrifugal casting, one is the filament wound, and these are the two companies which were merged together 2017, and we have we have since that quite international business. So we have a lot of plants in Europe. We have a plant in Morocco. And what is also special for us that we have worldwide license business. So you really can say Amiblu is always very close to the customer, to the job site, because we have really on all continents our licenses. And this is where we are very proud of, because we like to partner up with the clients and really help them to have them really a sustainable and longevity solution for their challenges.
Okay, and in terms, you mentioned the two sides of the business, but it'd just be good to have a bit more detail on the sort of product portfolio, the solutions that you manufacture and offer to customers.
Yeah, I mean, starting from diameters, this is maybe something very impressive, and so we start from around 400 millimeters to up to 4 meters. So we can then serve potable water pipelines up to 4 meters diameters, which is really huge then. And in our segments where we are working in, so we talk about the potable water segment, the sewage segment, the irrigation segment. A very special one for us is the hydropower segment. In UK, for instance, done a lot in Scotland. We have 600 plus in Norway, and in all the countries where around the Alps, so from France till Austria and so on. And finally, which is also a very big segment for us, is the industrial segment. So industrial is quite broad. So at the moment, we do very big projects for seawater desalinations, but we are also in cooling systems for different type of power plants, from coal power plants to nuclear power plants. So always the second cooling circle, so not the main cooling circle in the case of nuclear power plants. So we have a very broad engineering knowledge, and this is also where we see ourselves as the clear leader through the roots back. As I stated at the beginning, we have a technology center in Norway, where we have people from more than 15 countries around the world. So very high ranked chemical engineers, mechanical engineers. So we have a big test lab there. We have long-term tests there, more than 4 decades. So we have the samples there, and this is something very, very special for our group.
Okay, and I suppose the next obvious question would be the materials. So why GRP? And perhaps you can compare and contrast. I know everyone is very, depending on which material they advocate, a champion of that, but it'd just be good to understand why GRP, what are the particular characteristics that distinguish it from maybe some of the other materials out there?
I mean, GRP for sure, the big advantage is the great persistence of this and the very low CO2 footprint. So when you compare this to competitive materials like concrete, like ductile iron, or iron, so the CO2 footprint is compared to them very, very low. And this is proven and this is done with external certified parties, that this calculation is very obvious, transparent, that we have there the clear advantages. So also what we know from the projects which are in place for several decades that our GRP material, as it is out of resin and glass fiber, there is no corrosion at all. You know, this is also one of the main important things what we hear around the world from all the design engineers and from all the investors. I mean, if you think on all applications near sea, always corrosion is a big issue. Generally, we are talking most of the time about water in our business. Their corrosion is always an issue. And with GRP, there is no corrosion at all. And the longevity, I mean, we have computer simulations where we see that it's 150 years plus. It's absolutely no issue. We always think for sure about the system itself. So everything has to have then this long-term lifetime. But it's not only marketing when we say the best pipe is the pipe which you never have to recycle and this is, yeah, I believe we can prove it really on academic proven calculation and statistics and design methods and so.
Okay, and in terms of the company's sort of approach to innovation, it'd be good to understand what you do there. I'm thinking, I think I've come across something you call the AMI screen, for example, which you produce, but just maybe a bit on that and just more generally how you keep yourself, you know, ahead of the game and keeping up with the latest developments.
Yes, thanks for this question. I mean, AMI screen, I can for sure explain in few words. I mean, AMI screen is at the end a solution which comes from the customer. So a lot of the innovations at the end come from the customer needs. And this is where we really strive for, to be always very close to the customers, to understand the issues. And these AMI screens for stormwater solution, I would like call it like this. Unfortunately, this becomes more and more important through all these changes on the globe. And when you look back last year in the summer, there we talked about Brighton. I mean, it was when there was this heavy rain, and then all the water cleaning factories there were overflooded, and then everything what I don't like to name now was then in the sea, and then all the bacteria were there, and the people couldn't go to the sea swimming, and the kids were not allowed to do this. And this is a actual project problem solver which we market all over, and which gives us very good feedback from the customers. And yeah, again, the innovation comes very often from customers itself, from their challenges. And then the good thing is that we have a lot of competence in our tech center there in Sandefjord in Norway. It's 2 hours south of Oslo, where we have all these specialists, where we have the test lab, and this is an external accredited test lab. So it's a really, everybody basically could do tests there. So we have the accreditation there is also something very special in our group. And there we have the knowledge, and we have the computer simulation programs. We have so many input to find the solutions that we are there very innovative. I mean, we invest 1 million, 1.5 million each year in innovation. And we are really very serious about this, because innovation is also done in the value chain with our suppliers for resin, for instance. I mean, the green aspect is in our DNA through the GRP solution itself, and what we really like to be as company. And we work there also very close together with key suppliers. I mean, in this case, I call them really partner, because a supplier, maybe you can change tomorrow or a day after, but with a partner, you have a long term, and in this case, more than 40 years cooperation. then our chemical engineers work together with them to get the kind of green resin. I mean, and on the market side, then this innovation at the moment, maybe you don't get always the price for that, but we strongly believe that the time will come and that it really just makes sense to innovate in this direction as well. And I mean, innovation for us this was the coming from the customer side and describing the product itself, but it's also in the process itself, in the production process itself. I mean, innovation for me as CEO, but also for our group is also when we can reduce waste, when we can reduce water which is used in our plants, and we can recycle this water. And at the end, we do good things for the globe, for the environment, and also for our balance sheet, because from time to time, if we reduce waste, then also we save money. And this is also then it's a kind of win-win situation, I would say. And yeah, this is what motivates our people and what is for sure very well recognized from the communities around our plants, what we are doing there. And I mean, other things, I believe, I would not say it's standard, but for us it's standard that we try to have as much as possible photovoltaic in the plants and stuff like this. So also there we constantly invest and build this out to a technical maximum. And I'm sure in 3 years, maybe 5 years, also the battery solution to store the energy is much better. And then we for sure, and this is our internal goal, we will have plants who are then 100% independent from electricity, which is produced outside. And if we buy electricity, then we try to buy really green electricity produced out of renewable energy. So this is, again, the full from customer to suppliers, and there are a lot of things for sure going on the product solution side. I mean, we are thinking and talking in solutions. We don't see ourselves as pipe sellers, so we really like to add value to the customer, and the customer. These are municipalities. This if you go to Africa, very often the ministers, our partners for the talks, because they have the plan or the need to bring first potable water to the people, and then when the development is going on, then the sewage topic is the next one. Or if you look in Morocco, where we have a big plant and we will double and expand the plant there. There the king is really taking care about his people, and there are huge investments go on for all type of water solutions, so potable, but also water which the industry is using there. For instance, there's a huge fertilizer or phosphate industry there, and that they are not allowed to use anymore the potable water, so they have to build the seawater desalination plant. So and all these examples which I share with you have potential for innovation, and should really add value to the people there at the end. It's the customer, but at the end it's about the people.
Yeah, because I mean, I was going to come on and ask you about sustainability, but you've kind of, well, you haven't. You've explained very clearly that your innovation and sustainability are sort of very heavily interlinked. But what I'm perhaps interested in is your customers, maybe, because you've explained a lot about how the company, puts sustainability in front and center. But are you finding increasingly that your customers are, pushing back at you, or at least inquiring as to sustainability, when it comes to, you showing them how you are, and they're also wanting solutions that they can show maybe to their customers or stakeholders that they are investing in sustainable technology, but bearing in mind what we touched on earlier about the climate change and the situation we find ourselves in?
Yeah, I mean, the example from the European Union, where anyway the Green Deal and the Blue Deal uh, somehow motivates, in the positive words, each company to move in the green direction, and there it's great for us as a European-based producer that we have then a lot of advantages on that, and the market itself is changing. We see this. So, example from Netherlands, they are really the front runners in this Green Deal, Blue Deal. So there they accept already a bit higher prices if you really have green resins, for instance, if the environmental footprint is lower compared to others, and there also the logistics is calculated in, and we use that as EBDs for that. And then this is really a standardized, very transparent calculation. So it's not the Amiblu calculation as I described before. It's really done on international standards. And this we see that it's moving, but it's also on other continents. So it's not only in Europe. So the unfortunately, as a citizen of this globe, I have to say, unfortunately, it gets more and more challenging every day. I mean, we have water scarcity, we have storm floods on the other side, we have flooding in other countries, and yeah, nowadays no country does not feel the impact, I would say, and this I have to say really unfortunately, because it's really a challenge for the people there, and then we have countries, take Italy, and these are official statistics. They lose, for instance, 51% of the potable water before it enters the house itself. So there is a huge need and to renovate, reconstruct the infrastructure there. I mean, I believe in UK and in UK everything is very transparent through all these waterworks, starting from Thames Water, and so there you see the huge need of investments in the infrastructure, just to reduce the losses, for instance, in the pipelines and so on. So this is
And yeah,
where we aim.
no, in terms of the customers, I'm intrigued how you. I expect there isn't a typical customer, but in terms of the way you engage with customers, I think you mentioned earlier on that you don't regard yourselves as just a pipe seller, but more of a partner working with people. So just be good to understand how you like to be engaged with customers. Presumably, if they ring up and say we want so much pipe at this diameter, are you happy just to say yes, no questions asked, we'll sell it, or do you want to generally try and understand the application and then help them to come up with the best solution? Just your thoughts, I suppose, as to how you engage with your customers.
I mean, I would split this a little bit because very often we are in tendering processes involved. And the second direction are private investment, like industrial companies or things like this. In this first sector, very often engineering consultants are involved in the decision process. When you look to the international projects, sometimes it takes really years because first the project has to be designed. Later on, the financing part is coming, and look to Africa, but also to parts in Asia. This international financing then is the key. So, but the connection to the sustainable solution is very often done via these engineering consulting companies, and they are huge ones. I mean, they are one example. We are a very small country in Austria. There is one company based here. They have 3,000 engineers in nearly 50 countries of the world. They have offices, and they did projects in 120 countries. And then there are the real big guys, which are even on stock listed. They have then up to 70,000 engineers. And these companies I call them companies, these partners of the municipalities, of the local authorities, they very often define which type of material is done, you know. And then one aspect, and this, and you mentioned this, and you see this obviously, that is coming, this sustainable aspect becomes more and more strong. On the other side, then there are technical things. It's about no corrosion. It's about that when you use GRP, then you need less electricity for the pumps, because our pipes are softer, so there is not as high friction like with other materials. So there are then really already the technical details which give arguments to our solution, to the GRP in general. Then is this longevity generally. Then there are also, I mean, this is a case what we saw in Turkey, unfortunately, last year. February the 6th was this dramatic earthquake there, and then lot of GRP pipes are still working because they are more flexible than concrete and steel pipes. So these are then all these technical arguments, and this is the job of our engineering departments. They have to partner up with them, with these engineering consultants, and work on the solution that, you know, they are independent. They check concrete, steel, or GRP, and we just can help them to give all the argument which is in GRP. And there we are, at this point, we are far away to get the business. We are really just help them to give their customer the right decision base. And this is a job what we really do on a worldwide basis. So we have people, first of all, in a lot of locations, and secondly, traveling around really to support there. And this is a bit the you can call it pre-sales phase, and this is very important for this tendering process. On the other side, with the industrial companies, there very often we have direct contact to them. From time to time, or maybe more than 50%, they have also external engineering consultants, but very often they have the competence in-house. And then we bring up real innovations, special pipes, where also for securing old coal mines, stuff like this. And this is, I cannot share here these details because we signed NDA with I don't know how many pages, but this is then really a innovation which is done directly together with the customer. So the customer has a big challenge. They know they have to pump out water 2,000 meter in depth, and the electricity is a challenge there. So our pipes have to have then graphite in, for instance, and stuff like this. And this is then a joint development, I would say. And there are other examples, you know, nowadays with hydrogen, a lot of new questions come on our table and say, hey, the Amiblu team, could you help us there? We have to find a solution there. And also there we have now special teams working on these projects. And there we are very proud. We are really very proud that multinational companies approach us if we would like to partner up. So obviously they understood that we have quite a competence there, yeah. So it makes us really proud.
I'm just wondering as well, I know it varies from country to country, but traditionally price was a main driver, because the accountants were there saying, you know, we want to get this project but there seems to be a growing trend that whole life cycle cost is being, you know, more looked at. Is that what you're finding in generally, and therefore as you've outlined there, you're being asked to explain not just the upfront cost, but the ways in which the pipe over its life will contribute towards the cost savings later on, if you like.
Yeah. So generally, and you stated you can just say generally because it's different from country to country or project to project. I can really say yes. So the people start thinking, change their mind that the life cycle cost is very important, not only the short-term investment. And if I don't know, a concrete pipe is damaged after 40 years, then the mayor has to, maybe he's not the mayor anymore at this time, but then the community has to do the reinvestment already after 40 years. And there really, I see a lot of positive examples which helps generally the GRP solution. It's not only for Amiblu, it's everybody of our colleagues who are in the same business like we are, that this becomes more and more important. And it's with the example from the European legislation, there is also in Europe a push on that it has to go in this direction. But there are also other examples. I could give you an example from Australia where we see the same, and that the people there say also, okay, but the health, safety, all this topic, and how you treat your people in the plants, and do you pay the right wages, and is it really safe what you are doing? So and all this gets more and more value, and then and there I'm again proud of all my people. I can answer always, yeah, you can have, we can prove you everything. We have the internal audits, the external audits. You can have statistics, what we do for the people, that we really take care about them, because for sure, not all of the things, but most of them have some impacts on the price. But we like to be fair to everybody, to our customers, and for sure to our people. But the value is there for sure, and it's not, let's say, only in few countries. It becomes more and more a real argument, and also you called it accountants. Yeah, okay. At the end, there's some money available which can be invested. This is logic. I believe this is all over. And they're not in the cloud, and where we can decide then or prove everything that everything is great. The argument becomes stronger and stronger, but still, and this is logic, we have to be competitive. And yeah, this is what we are doing in the plants. We have a big focus on lean production. So I always tell the people, hey, we have to find each day 1 promille improvement. If it's a percentage, I'm super happy. And yeah, reduce the waste, reduced electricity what we use, and become more lean, train the people better, that they are more efficient. And there are so many small aspects. I'm sure Lotto, and I know also from my history that top companies are anyway taking care about all of these aspects.
And just before we finish, it'd be good to understand in terms of the UK specifically, just what your profile is, if you like, and what plans you have to develop it. It'd be good to understand that.
So UK is for us a very important. UK and Ireland is in our definition where we have one country manager for the two countries, and we also invested quite in some sales people, sales engineers. So we see there a big potential. And in the UK is very nice for our people in the sales excellence department who do all the market potential analyze, because everything is transparent there through the privatization what was done. We see there the projects which are coming, and so also there it's always the same. You have to be close to the customers. You have to show them which value you can create. and which value the investor has then long term. And we work there also in these 5 segments, which I described at the beginning. But in each of the countries, we like to be very good in 3 out of the segments. And this is different from country to country. And for sure, if we talk about hydropower, there's a potential in Scotland, and there are projects there which we did already in the past, and what we like to do in the future. Then potable water is a big topic in UK, where we see that a lot of investments in the infrastructure has to be done. I mean, there is, I believe, no question about this. And I believe you know this as citizen as well. There are big projects in sewage, which are attractive for us. And then this, call it special applications or solutions. You mentioned this Amis Green, but also the non-circular business is one of our segments, or we call it technology. We call it internally our third technology. Also, there is a very nice project, and there we can add a lot. And also this non-circular, there we have specialists now who really try to bring over the message what we can do there. So in other words, very nice, attractive country, sales potential wise, and for sure people wise. This is, it's very nice to be there and to do business with people in the UK and in the Ireland.
And maybe just finally, for the company, just more generally, you talked about UK and Ireland as I asked, but just more generally, any plans you can share as to just in what ways you're developing the company, whether that's through expanding your presence, although it sounds you're pretty global already, and or bringing any innovations to market, and anything you're able to share.
So the question was about the international markets now, did I?
Well, really just the company, just how you're going to expand, grow the company.
Okay.
Mixture of whether that's, building new manufacturing plants, sales offices, etc. Although, as I say, you sound fairly global already. And then just any innovations that may be in the office.
International expansion is one of our pillars of the strategy which we set up. And we just talked about UK. I mean, we recently added their 3 sales resources, for instance. So we have now regional organization there, and we always work in segments. We have the regional setup and we have the competent setup for the individual. In this example, we also try to bring out to the world. So we have a plant in Morocco, as I mentioned. Morocco itself is a very big market because there are so many projects are going on, and we will double there our plant in this year. So hopefully end of the year we are done with our project. And then we also use this plant. First of all, there will be an international training center. And on the other side, it should be also then a plant for export. I mean, when you think about 4-meter pipes, the logistics costs are quite high. So we have to be somehow close to a port, for instance, to transport by ship. Transport on land is then the last mile or miles, but we need then harbors very close. The logistics is very important, and so this is an example for Africa. We have also other projects actually running where we like to set up plants more on the Asian part, also to expand there. We do quite a lot of projects out of Europe, delivered out of Europe, but we started last year also to strengthen our sales engineer network, also try to find local partners in the different countries, really specialized, very well educated people, and the challenge is always to find the the people with the right personality, the trustful people, the long-term orientated people, and we did their very good steps forward. So we are also there in the process to have a new plant soon, very soon. Hopefully, I can give you in 3 to 4 months then a call and say, Philip, now we did it, we closed it, and so Africa is attractive for us. Asia is very attractive for us through our setup where we have a 50% ownership from an Austrian group. It's a family-owned group, and 50% is a Saudi stock company which is on the Saudi stock exchange, which goes back to the Amiandit side on one side. This is the Saudi, and the Hobart side, this is the Austrian family. I mean, there, for instance, the Middle East, this is covered by our 50% shareholder. They are also our license partner, so we give them support for the plants, further development in the production process and things like this, but the sales process they are doing. And we see, for instance, we call them Stan countries, so this Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, all this, Pakistan, the need for water infrastructure is huge. It's really huge. And so we see there also big potential to do projects there. And also there is exactly as I described before, international engineering consulting companies. They work there for the local ministry, municipalities, and then the project described, and then the financing part is coming. There we lot of that is done from the World Bank, European Investment Bank. There is an African Investment Bank, a Chinese Investment Bank. So these are also very important stakeholders, because it's not the question about the need of the water. It's at the end and always the question about financing it. And so beside Africa and Asia, there I believe there we have a lot of things to do in the even decades, I would say.
No,
So the world market, the potential is very big. I mean, Latin America, I could really talk about I would say about each country on the world where really there is a need for water infrastructure solutions.
okay, no, I mean, as you say, it would be great to catch up in maybe 6 months' time to see what more has happened.
Yeah.
But at least for now, I mean, it's been great to chat, some brilliant insights as to what's going on. So I really appreciate your time. I know you're in the middle of traveling as well, so even more appreciation for your time. Thank you.
That's fine. So it was, in Austria we have the saying in German, aller guten Dinge sind drei. So the third time is the good thing, because first I was ill, I understood. Last time you were ill, but
That's
now
it.
the
No,
third time we managed it.
we've got there. No, exactly. Third time lucky is what we say. That's right. So
Third time lucky. Yeah, okay.
Thanks again.
Super.
Thank you.
Now, many thanks to you, and yeah, let's stay in contact, and hopefully you got some insights about the GRP world and about Amiblu.
Yep, that was brilliant. Thanks again.
Thanks, Philip.